if you have been on a semaglutide, or if you know people who've been on a semaglutide, I want you to know we're not looking for those same results. And that can be really frustrating. Let me just take this off my tripod so I don't lose this. That can be really frustrating because I know that people want to be off of a semaglutide. A lot of people do, and they are looking at this as an alternative. And so I want you to hold that thought, okay? I want you to wrap that in a little box and put a bow on top of it, because that's the thought, right? There's reasons why people want to be off a semaglutide. And there's reasons why people want to be on something different than a semaglutide. And when I say semaglutide, if that's a new word for you, I'm talking about the pharmaceutical offering right now for weight loss, which is what they're calling a GLP-1, which essentially tricks the brain into thinking that you have the GLP-1 hormone, which is actually an essential hormone that you need. And so I'm not a pharmaceutical rep. I'm not going to talk to you about that in depth, but I can give you just that little bit of information. And I can tell you that my friends and colleagues who have been on a semaglutide and who are now off a semaglutide have told me about the fact that they had zero food noise, okay? And then we start to look at food noise as thoughts about food, right? Cravings or, just that reel in your head about food. And what happens is on that pharmaceutical that is totally silent, and hunger goes silent too. One of my dear friends, who is also one of my colleagues, who was on a semaglutide, it was concerning to her because she never ever got hungry. And that should be concerning. That should be concerning because, right, we need food to survive. We need to be nourished. We need nutrients. We need fuel. And so if our body isn't telling us ever that we're hungry, that's a problem. And if our body is telling us at times that we're hungry, that's good, and we need that. And that's not food noise. That's necessary. Food is a part of our life, and it should be a part of our life. And so we actually should think about food. That's not food noise. It should be balanced. And I think where people have become so aware that something's imbalanced, that something is so depleted, underexpressed, or too overexpressed, is when it gets unbalanced and it's unhealthy. If all you're thinking about is food, if you can't stop thinking about food, if you're thinking about food and it's pulling you when you're not hungry, and there's almost like this obsessive reel in your head, that's imbalanced. But there are things in my life that I love, that are important to me. My dogs, I think about them in a balanced way. My kids, I think about them in maybe a balanced way. Who knows? I love them so much that, and maybe that's balance. That's intentional of how much I think about my kids. My husband, same thing. My home, or cleaning my house, or, the outfit I'm going to wear, different things. In a balanced way, those thoughts go through your mind, and food should be part of that. What I'm going to make for dinner is a normal thought, right? That's not a bad thought. You don't want that to be totally gone. You want to still be able to enjoy food and have great food that you love. When it shifts and you are reaching for food for fuel, and you are craving the food that your body actually needs, not the food that's numbing you or medicating you or comforting you, but the food that tastes good and feels good. Food's enjoyable. We want to enjoy it. So when people are shifting off of a semaglutide and they say, I experience food noise, well, or maybe you are hungry, and maybe it's food that you should be thinking about, and there's a learning of a new way. When I got out of eating disorder treatment so many years ago, I remember thinking, I don't know how to think about food and eating and body size. I don't know what's normal. I'm so skewed, and my thoughts are so off. What should I like? There's a little bit of confusion, and you have this blank canvas where you kind of have to start over. And I think what the difference is with my body is we are turning on the natural processes in the body, and we're building to get our body in balance, and we're all coming from different levels of deficiency, so it takes longer or shorter amounts of time person to person. Absolutely. You are so unique. We don't know the depths of certain deficiencies or imbalances within our body. And so as that starts to come into balance, we're starting to learn how much we should be thinking about food, dieting, or weight, or food prep. And we're starting to learn what we should, what a real, like, nutritional fueling my body craving feels like. We're painting on this blank canvas now. I love it, actually. It feels so good to allow my body to kind of show me where we should be, and how our thoughts should be. It's empowering, it's invigorating, but I'm not going to compare it to someone's experience on a drug in the same way. I actually just got off the phone with a client who's had extreme pain reduction in her activation experience, very fast. And if you've heard me talk, you know, one of three things happen when you start. It can be really fast and you have really great results really quick. You could feel nothing right away, or you could have a little bit of a negative feeling, a discomfort with the detox. All of those three things are good, and all of those three things are normal. This particular person had a really strong relief from pain. And I and my husband have had incredible pain relief journeys with activation. Incredible. But I always tell people, this is not a narcotic. Please don't compare this to a narcotic. We're turning on pathways in your body that initiate incredible healing and repair of a cell. And anything that ails you is made up of cells. So as the cells start to heal, and you have this process of autophagy, and you see the dysfunctions within your cells go down, has great results on your body. It's just phenomenal. And that's what's happening with this mind body. But we're not tricking the brain, and we're not having, we're not having a narcotic effect. We're not having an amphetamine effect. And even though I'm so energized, wouldn't it be wrong to, like, compare this to an amphetamine if I had been on amphetamines before and say, oh my gosh, like I was bouncing off the walls with amphetamines. Why aren't I bouncing off the walls now? Well, because you're not supposed to be bouncing off the walls. Like that wasn't a healthy thing. And so, with the effects of different meds, let's not compare. We're not a pharmaceutical. We don't want to be. We're not anti-pharmaceutical. So I'm not saying this to you to be anti any meds that you're on. There are times and places for meds. And that's for you to decide. That's for you and your doctor to decide and work through. But this is not that. That's all I'm saying. And we're turning on processes in your body that bring about healing and repair and balance and regulation within systems that should be working. And so what a wonderful thing. But as that happens, for 8.5 years now, I've had different levels of insight and breakthrough of, oh, this is what I'm supposed to feel like. I was just telling people the other day that when I first got activated, I didn't think anything was wrong with me. I only started because I put 2 of my sons on it, and they were in really, really tough spots with their health. And then I just took it out of obligation. Like, if I'm giving my sons this new thing that I don't really know about, I should probably take it too, just to, make sure that what it is and feel some of the effects. And I didn't feel anything, but so I was one of those people who didn't feel anything. But 4 months in, I realized I wasn't struggling with IBS anymore. And I wasn't having hot flashes anymore at 42 years old. I must have been 43 or 44 because I'm 52 now. It was 8.5 years ago. So my early 40s. And I slowly, as time went by, and it kept building, and my body became more balanced and more balanced. And I had more time of not having those elevated dysfunctions within my cells. I started noticing more and more and more. And I told people, when I started, I thought I felt as good as I could feel. That's just how I thought it felt to be in my early 40s. And now I love to tell people, you have no idea how great feeling your best is. It's really, really fun to find out. And so similarly with this mind body, we really have no idea yet what our body's natural relationship should be with food when there's completely balanced GLP-1, GLP-2, PPY, DPP-4, all of those hormones that are coming into balance and starting to really behave themselves. And even if I, think like, because I really did, I'm like, I've come so far from my eating disorder days. I think I'm really healthy, but I didn't have any idea. Now I'll be 4 weeks in tomorrow, and I didn't have any idea how healthy and great and balanced my relationship with food could be. But I do still have a relationship with food. And so please don't be looking for there to be no relationship with food. My gosh, enjoy food. It's wonderful. I still love it. It just doesn't rule me. It just fuels me. It's cool. Anyway, if you have questions, put them in the comment. It's my joy to share this with you and to chat with you about it and answer any questions.